march on government to go ahead on Sunday as rally organisers appear to focus on the monarchy reform plans. The rally on Saturday was attended by former Future Forward Party leader Thanathorn Juangroongruangkit accompanied by Pannika Wanich, another key member of the progressive movement. Mr. Thanathorn spoke of a shared ideology and praised the crowd for upholding the strength of the people. A key development was the police seizure of 50,000 booklets with a red and white cover which outlined the students' call for reform of the monarchy. Police indicated that the consignment of booklets was illegal and would be used as evidence in further proceedings. A crowd of between 30,000 and 50,000 people turned up on Saturday in the largest anti-government rally since the military coup of 2014, calling for the ouster of the current government led by General Prayut Chan-o-cha. Themed Reclaim the People's Power, the protesters at the rally camped overnight ahead of a march on Government House on Sunday. The key leader of the protest, Mr. Pannika Wanich, suggested that a surprise may be in order on Sunday afternoon, even as he confirmed that the march will be targeting Government House. It is understood that this may be related to the establishment of a new People's Party. The key leader emphasized the determination of the protesters to push for radical constitutional and legal change in Thailand, including, most controversially, reform of the monarchy. Protest leader Pannika Wanich briefs the media on Saturday. Inset Right, Move Forward Party MP Rangsiman Rome with one of the 50,000 booklets calling for reform of the monarchy. Inset Left Top, Popular Thammasat student leader Ms. Panusaya Sathajaraw addressing the rally on Saturday night. Inset Left Bottom, Pannika Wanich, who led the crowd into the campus on Saturday after midday, speaks on Saturday night ahead of Sunday's march on Government House. At a hastily convened press conference on Saturday night behind the stage of the large and growing anti-government protest, the largest by far since the 2014 coup, the leader of the protest or the Thammasat Alliance, Mr. Pannika Wanich, more familiarly known as Penguin, threw down the gauntlet to the government ahead of Sunday's second leg of the protest. It comes as a super poll opinion poll with a sample of over 2,500 throughout Thailand showed over 83% of the Thai public broadly supports today's demonstration with a small minority in opposition. This weekend's protest has also been carried by international news media around the world as one of the biggest news stories, with footage of the events being regularly updated. The Penguin, who earlier on Saturday was involved with the police seizure of 50,000 printed copies of a booklet detailing the students' 10-point plan for reform of the monarchy, said that Sunday's march would go ahead and that Government House would be its target. This came amid swirling rumours that a change of plan may have been in the works, with talk of a march on another venue. Students and young people joined by red-shirt stalwarts this weekend in a call for political change. One thing is clear from the events of Saturday, and that is that the student-led protests, which swell to include many middle-aged and older people as well as former red-shirt activists, is now determined to follow through on its calls for fundamental change to Thailand's constitutional system, its government and, quite shockingly, for many ordinary Thais, the monarchy. Some protesters came dressed as military tanks, while one group brought a 3-meter submarine to highlight the government's proposed 22.5 billion baht purchase of submarines from China, a move heavily criticized by opposition parties at this time of economic crisis and hardship. Mr. Parrot or the Penguin told reporters that Thailand needed a new constitution written by the people and made it quite clear that this would involve reform of the monarchy and a complete overhaul of Thailand's existing laws. Proposed reform of the monarchy is anathema and a red flag to conservative factions in the kingdom. This is anathema to many conservatives in Thailand and is a direct challenge to outgoing Army Chief General Apparat Kongsampong, who last October gave a high-profile press conference in which he warned of changes to the Thai constitution or any attempt to impinge on the monarchy and its relationship to the people. On Saturday, it was revealed that the Deputy Prime Minister Prayut Wangsuwan, responsible for security during the protests this weekend, was not now going to establish a command center or war room as previously reported, but had decided to leave the matter to the appropriate authorities. Pannika Wanich tells officials that Thammasat is owned by the people as the crowd moved in on Saturday, just after midday, as electricity generators and barricades arrived at the scene. The gates of Thammasat University were still closed. As the crowd built up, another key protest leader, Pannika Wanich, also known as Mike Rayong, attempted to negotiate with university officials. After matters reached a stalemate even with a smaller gate open, Mr. Panipong shouted loudly through the gate to the officials that the people owned the university and that they would be entering at the same time as the crowd charged the gates open and rushed into the famous campus, the scene of a massacre of students in 1976 by conservative militia groups. This occurred around midday and Mr. Panipong was accompanied by Ms. Panusaya Sathajaraw, another key student leader who is very popular with Thammasat University students. Protesters confronted the police over full access to Sanam Luang, which police deemed illegal. The protesters, 3 hours later, clashed with police as they entered the Sanam Luang parade ground near the Grand Palace where an area was cordoned off. This was at approximately 3 p.m. Initially, police had allocated them a small area at the edge of the park where a stage was erected, but as leaders engaged police officers, the crowd simply pushed on through the barricades. Later, it was reported that police officers made an application to the court on the matter but no further action was taken. Between 30,000 and 50,000 people took part. Estimates of the crowd varied during the day. At one point, police claimed that only 5,000 people were present, which they later amended to 20,000. As the crowd settled down for speeches, it became clear that it had occupied nearly all of the Sanam Luang area, although many people were taking space to sit and sleep overnight. The organizers claimed that the crowd was already more than 100,000, but objectively it appears that a crowd approaching 50,000 was in attendance, which would be in excess of police intelligence reports which informed the government that they were expecting 40,000 people. Penguin promised a surprise for the government on Sunday afternoon. Talks of a new party. The Penguin alerted the media to the fact that a surprise may be in store for the government on Sunday at approximately 3 p.m. There has been some speculation that this could be the announcement of a new political party or force called the People's Party, but it could also mean a sudden change in protest tactics to bring about the removal of the government. Mr. Parrott also predicted that the government, led by General Prayut Chan-o-cha, would not last another month even if it chose to ignore calls by protesters over the weekend for it to step down. Former Future Forward Party leader Thanathorn praised people for showing their strength among the large crowd that settled in with flashing smartphones, music and stage speakers. On Saturday night was the former Future Forward Party leader Thanathorn Juangroongruangkit, accompanied by Pannika Wanich, another member of the progressive movement. Mr. Thanathorn, commenting for the press, drew attention to the peaceful nature of the protest. Today the rally as seen has been peaceful. The suppressed people came together to show their strength, he said. The leader of a highly successful new political party that was dissolved by the Constitutional Court earlier this year, suggested that all those gathered at the rally shared the same ideology. The theme of this weekend's protest is Reclaim the People's Power. Seizure of 50,000 booklets by police calling for reform of the monarchy to be used as evidence of a crime. The leader of the Move Forward Party, the successor to Future Forward in Parliament, MP Pitalim Jaronrat, was also seen in attendance on Saturday, as well as other MPs who became involved as police moved in to seize the 50,000 booklets on the monarchy which were to be distributed to the crowd. In relation to this, police told MP Rangsiman Rome of Move Forward that the seized booklets would be used as evidence in any criminal proceedings which may be brought against those involved. A preliminary examination of the booklets by officers suggested, according to police sources, that the material was illegal. The content of the booklets with a red and white cover was later published online as a PDF for those attending the rally to read. Rally organizers had intended to distribute copies to all attendees at the mega protest. Academic warns leaders about going too far. On Thursday in Bangkok, at another event, a well-known academic at Thammasat University warned of the danger of the current situation. He spoke of inadvertently transferring good intentions into hatred. He called for a peaceful outcome and solution to what he termed a generational divide. Can we achieve it without losing blood and inciting hatred? We can become a civilized society where people can quarrel and get better as we see issues more clearly, said Professor Jaywit Satha Anand. He said that this young generation had a different outlook and view of the world to past high generations. Growing up in a virtual world, they have a different perception of time and history. He warned strongly of the danger of the protest leaders taking their demands too far and said that he fears this even more than the possible infiltration of the protest movements by rogue elements in an attempt to generate violence.